Hi guys, it's Sarah, and today I'll be doing a book review on Radiance by Alison Noel. It took me about 2 weeks to read this book, and yes, I know it's a really short book, but to me it was kind of dry. It was kind of boring. I liked it, but that was mostly because the ending was interesting. It had a solid plot line for being such a short book. I mean, there was kind of like a few surprises. I didn't really think the Radiance boy would be like 3 boys. I didn't think that their mother would be the one that do you know how to say his name? Bodhi helped? So, I don't really have a lot to say about this book. For my star system, I usually do like blank stars out of 10 stars. I think I'll give this one a 5 out of 10 stars because while it was dry and boring, it wasn't awful. It didn't, scream, "This is awful" to me, and it didn't make me want to throw it across the room because of how awful it was. I mean, I think I've only read one book this year that truly made me angry by how bad it was. And I might get grief for this, but The Daughter Smoking Bones was that book. I didn't like that book. But this book had some charm to it. I kind of liked how Riley just didn't automatically fit in with the people in Here and Now is what they call it? Yeah. The Here and Now. Bodhi was entertaining for what he was, and she starts liking him at this end to this novel, but I don't really care to pick up the second one. Buttercup, I liked that she had a companion with her. I kind of wish she stayed with Ever, though. I mean, yeah, creepy dog coming back from life, but yeah, all I ever had was her aunt, basically. But her whole family dying, that was kind of like harsh. But I didn't like this book as much as I like the Evermore series. I mean, if I reread the Evermore series, I think I would be frustrated with it right now. But I wasn't frustrated with this book. I was just, it was okay to me. And since it's such a short book, there's nothing really to it. I mean, just Riley. Riley's, I think is what they call it, a soul catcher. Whenever souls linger on the Earth place, is what they call Earth, and she has to coax them into wanting to be in the here and now. And I think she did a good job of the Radiance boys. I liked how it wasn't just the ending of her doing the Radiance boys, because then I would have given this a lesser rating because it was so boring and the build-up was like, ugh, so dry. But after the Radiance boys, they had their mother come in, the mother that was so overcome with grief because her sons had been killed when she was away by someone she thought she could trust. That was pretty good, side story to this. I liked how they introduced the mother, the grieving mother. If they didn't, it would probably be a horrible story. But this book, yeah, 5 out of 10 stars. The other thing I want to talk to you about is my poster just finally came in. And as you noticed, I got a few new additions to my wall. Like, right here, I got Daenerys Targaryen. And, like, beside me, I have The Pretty Little Liars. I love that show, but I need to catch up with that show because it's been, like, 2 seasons since I watched it. I stopped watching it whenever I found out Ezra was and that he was just being a father to write a book or something. I'm just over here going like, okay, they were one of my favorite couples, and you messed them up. I stopped watching that show because of that, and I heard it's getting better, but I'll see. It's on Netflix. And then over here, like, oh, okay. Gotta lift up my other hand because this camera's backwards. Over there, I have my House and Night section. I have Nefred and Zoe up there. The middle one's just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then Zoe is like right here. Also, I have have Aphrodite, Stevie Ray, and Zoe on one poster. Of course, I have Rose and Lissa from Vampire Academy on this one. And then this one, I actually didn't get. I didn't draw it per se, but I colored it in. And that's how it turned out. And it's one of my finer accomplishments, so I'm gonna put it on some of my videos. Even though you can't really see it. But yeah, that was my book talk on Radiance. I didn't really have a lot to say. I guess I should describe the characters and how I felt about them more. Let's see, Riley in this book still had like 12-year-old tendencies, like any 12-year-old could. She thinks that she wasted her existence following her sister, and maybe, yeah, she did. But I didn't think it. I think blaming a 12-year-old girl for pestering their sister isn't something that she should be ashamed of, even though she was. Well, it's like, whenever I was 12, I pestered my sister. I mean, I think it's just what younger sisters do. We want to be like our older sisters so much that we forget that to be who we are. So, yeah, I liked Riley when she's talking about Ever. The one thing I didn't like about this book, there was no Ever. I mean, whenever we read Evermore, there was Riley was there sometimes. She would talk to her sister. We didn't see the twins, which I thought I read in the book somewhere that the twins knew Riley. So we didn't see them. We didn't see Ever. Just this whole section of Riley sticking on the Earth place to, you know, help Ever and stuff. It's just, you know, it kind of, if you're gonna write a book about Riley dying, you know, it was exactly after she died too, so I don't know when Ever is gonna turn into the story. It's probably one of the main reasons why I read this book, because I wanted to see the relationship between Riley and Ever. And if you're gonna write a point of view from Riley, a book from Riley's point of view, I thought you should at least include how she visited Ever. I mean, come on. It's a good chunk of that book right there. So I'm confused. Are you gonna write about Ever into the other stories or what? Comment down below and let me know, because I'm probably not gonna read the rest of these. As with Bodhi kind of annoyed me at first. Like, there's only 2 characters in this book, and that's Riley and Bodhi. I mean, there's Buttercup, but Buttercup's Buttercup. Buttercup, he's a dog, and I liked how they got him to fly. It was pretty entertaining, but it's just, I don't know. I didn't like that there was no Ever in this book. It just really annoyed me, which is probably why I only got a 5 out of 10. It probably would have at least got a 6 out of 10 if Ever and Riley had that interaction like they did in Evermore, but I guess you can't write the same old story. But still, I would like to see that. How about you guys? Were you pissed off whenever there was no Ever in the story? Because I distinctly remember Riley pestering Ever on the Earth place and whatnot. Like, she talks in this book about going back to the Earth place and she's so excited about it. Didn't she pester Ever when she was back? It's just, you know, I would like to have saw that from Riley's point of view. But as far as a novella, it was okay. It didn't, like, wow me. It didn't make me want to read the other novellas. But it was okay, and that's what I said. The Radiance boys. Let's talk about the Radiance boys. I liked how they thought they were celebrities. It was funny. It was a entertaining part of the book, except they really bored me a little bit. Like, the story was kind of dry. It was well thought out, I like to say. It had its unique styles to it, but it didn't really do much for me as a book would. But we'll see with the other books I read how much I really like them. But yeah, I finished 1 out of my 5 goals, guys. I don't know if you saw my August 2BR. Like, this isn't the first one. The second one was the book I'm going to show you next. The third one I'm excited about. It was A Game of Love and Death. Fourth one was Hexal, and I think the fifth one was The Confessions of a Murder Suspect, which will take me forever to get through, let me tell you. Okay, and then, now that the book talk's done, I'm gonna let you see my pretty posters for a minute while I get my other book. Okay, so the next book I'm gonna be reading and discussing, which is part of my 2BR challenge, is Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. As you know, I told you in my August 2BR that I have watched Nicholas Sparks movies, but I haven't read one of his books. And then I was thinking back on it, and I realized that that was kind of a lie. Like, I've read one of his books, I remember now. I read The Last Song back in when I was a teenager, and I totally forgot about it. That was a Nicholas Sparks book. But I have read one. I've read one Nicholas Sparks book. But the next one I'll be reading is Safe Haven. What Safe Haven is about is a girl who basically runs away, is on the run, if you say. It's like, okay, so she's on the run from her husband, and, you know, I thought it was an interesting movie. Like, when I'll review this book, I have the movie on my movie shelf. Maybe I'll just put it, like, sneakily disguise it in the background. But Safe Haven is around 400 pages, so it might take me 3 weeks to finish, just because I'm not sure how into the book I'll get. But I'll let you know. Okay, guys, that was it for my book review. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry it was so short. Well, technically, I've been talking for 12 minutes, so it wasn't that short. I'm sorry that I couldn't explain more about the short story. But I'm happy to have my posters. What do you guys think about my posters? Comment down below. I love the Daenerys one. So, I'll see you guys in my next book review, possibly a book tag around that, depending on how I feel. I don't really feel up to one today, maybe later. But, okay. Bye, guys. Bye.